Turmoil is a strategy game that functions very similarly to a digital board game. You may be thinking, that's just a video game. But stay with me. In Turmoil, you're playing as an oil tycoon in the 19th century in North America. You compete against 3 others, either human or computer players, to get the most money. You use that money to buy upgrades so you can extract more oil more efficiently, which will lead to you gaining even more money. You expand from humble beginnings to an oil empire. The game moves through phases. There's the prep phase, where you're in the town where you and your competitors are based out of. You can spend money on different upgrades, which will often help you find oil faster, help you get oil out of the ground quicker, or help you sell it more efficiently. You can also head to the bar to rub shoulders with the locals, who can help you with your business if the price is right. Throughout the game and its DLCs, other mechanics are added, and thus other storefronts pop up that will help you exploit a new resource to help you strengthen your capitalist takeover. In this prep phase, you'll need to auction for plots of land, competing with your opponents to find the most oil-rich land. Land that has already been drained of its oil will be given a score depending on how much oil it had. Adjacent lands will have a similar number, so it's best to aim for plots besides used up lands with the higher numbers. Eventually, the game introduces the idea of buying stock in the town you work out of, as the mayor has announced he is retiring. This is the win condition of this game. If you own 51% or more of the stock by the end of the game, when all the land has been sufficiently tapped for oil, you have won. After you've prepared yourself well enough, you can head to your plot of land. Here you will directly douse, scan, and drill for oil, and either sell it to Left Incorporated or Right Incorporated, or store it and wait until their prices get better. Their prices do vary, so sometimes it's better to hold on to as much oil as you can before they start buying it at a reasonable rate. This is the game at its core. There are new mechanics that are introduced, like gasoline, which can be drilled for similarly to oil, but instead of selling it, you can use it to either increase how fast your oil is coming out of the ground, or use it to inflate prices the oil is being purchased for. If you play the DLCs, you begin a new campaign with almost the exact same setup as the original game, but it introduces new mechanics that often have you finding something new underground that can further be used for your own benefit. To the review of the game, one of the biggest positives is that the gameplay can be very fun. Managing an oil company might not seem like the most fun on the surface level, but the mix of resource management and tempting fate by playing the oil stock market, you'll find yourself often taking risks and feeling like an absolute genius when it pans out. I also think the board game nature, whether intentional or unintentional, works really well for this game. The campaign style is similar to that of the Sid Meier Civilization games, at least at a surface level, which then relies on you having other players. The game works really well as a single player experience that then can organically work into a multiplayer experience as well. This game also felt like it was easy to get a minimum understanding of what you were expected to do and what the goal was. And those fundamental basics were relevant throughout the game, but it still took skill and effort to master the further complexities in this game. I also thought the DLCs were really well done. There's some minor tweaks of the core mechanics from the base game that they fixed up and gave quality of life upgrades. It makes me wish that there was a way for them to be in the original game as well. Now, I've sung this game's praises, but there are some flaws. The gameplay is fairly repetitive. To complete a full campaign, you'll need to play roughly 30 levels. And while this makes sense that you need that many levels to get the whole scope of what it has to offer, it does feel long and repetitive at times. And it especially feels repetitive because the base level computer players are super easy to beat. You will frequently find yourself bringing in more money than all 3 of your opponents combined. At that point, you're more so just going through the phases and levels, with the challenge more so being on the independent level rather than the larger campaign as a whole. But because there is no external motivator for you to get better, you'll also find that you can just ignore new mechanics. As you progress in the game, it will introduce new challenges and pitfalls, but you are fully able to just ignore them and stick to your normal basic methods without much punishment for doing so. This is tied to the easy to learn, hard to master idea behind this game. While the core game is easy to learn and complete off of what you now know, there isn't much motivation to master it until the New Game Plus. Finally, when the game does introduce new mechanics, it struggles to explain them in a way conducive to you actually understanding what's going on. Earlier in the game, I frequently found myself having to pause the game so I could look up how to actually use an in-game mechanic or interact with a resource. Overall, I'd still give this game a healthy 8 out of 10. There isn't a lot I would change to this game to make it any better. I'd highly recommend it if it seems interesting to you, or at the very least wait until it goes onto a Steam sale.